When a Malone, New York artist looks at a flower garden, he sees fantasy, drama, and tragedy in full bloom. Painter Arnold Sauther taught studio art and art history at Salmon River Central Schools for 40 years. Now a full-time painter, he turns to gardens to help his fantasy-prone personality flourish. Artist Arnold Sauther calls a garden a paradise, a place fertile with subject matter for paintings.
Gardens have a wonderful array of flowers. They have an impact. They're so immediate in your vision with the colors and the forms. And when I look at them, I use my imagination and I transform them. Flowers, there are so many associations. You can be scientific about flowers, you can be artistic about flowers. I like to kind of bring those two worlds together, and frequently you can look at my flowers and see the math of flowers. You can see patterns, you can see all kinds of possibilities and associations.
The only thing Sauther occasionally plants in a garden is his easel.
I wish I was a gardener, but I am not. I've learned a lot about flowers along the way, and with more knowledge of gardening, that probably would affect my perception of the flowers.
Sometimes the artist perceives flowers blooming with human traits.
Anthropomorphic is basically changing something like a flower to look like a human, and I think people that have a kind of romantic or fantasy type of vision often see the human in nature. I was given an amaryllis as a gift once, and as it bloomed, one of the buds looked like a face to me. Then from there, I just let my imagination loose, and I started to see an Indian woman, perhaps Hindu religion. The Hindu image probably was suggested by what looked to be a particular configuration of the hair, and then I expanded upon that and made many other associations. And I really enjoyed creating colors that were exotic and suggesting with motifs like the ant, a kind of reincarnation.
Sometimes humor sprouts in Sauther's creations.
This particular flower, the coneflower, when the stage of growth looked like a king's crown, and I kind of started to play around with that, and I saw another stage that appeared to me to be the queen. So I had my theme, and I kind of went with it with other symbols that relate to royalty. And the name of the painting is Reign, a play upon rain, but R-E-I-G-N also. I put the bee in because it's very natural in the setting. It's drawn to the coneflowers, but for me, it reminded me of a queen bee. And so there's a link to feminist issues. There are associations that the viewer can make that even have a touch of humor. Who is the power behind the throne? A viewer can really have fun with this one the way I did. I guess I enjoy adding whimsy because there's so much in life not to be whimsical about. I think it might help people to deal with the more difficult aspects of life.
On occasion, life's difficulties do burst into his paintings.
In my wife's garden, hollyhock was growing, and I looked at it in an upright position, and the pistil part looked like a bomb. And as it happened that summer, they were commemorating the 60th anniversary of dropping the bomb on Hiroshima. And from there, I made other connections to parts of the hollyhock, and I used them symbolically to reinforce a kind of message about that occasion.
Other paintings have their roots in more recent tragedies.
In this particular case, the Columbine flower is obviously the perfect metaphor for the tragedy in 1999 that occurred at Columbine. And there are symbols all the way through this painting, so many I couldn't explain them all, but the most obvious is the position of the flower and the parts that look like brooding figures. And that certainly suggests a reaction to that tragedy. The other part that is my own devising, the pistil part of the flower with these seeds going up, are my symbol for the souls of the 13 that died, 12 of them students and one a teacher. And then there are 23 here that indicate those that were injured. So that was a massive kind of tragedy in terms of numbers. Here's a symbol, a Christian symbol of resurrection, a butterfly. So the important thing to me is that the viewer will see several different symbols that are like clues, and they build up and reinforce that message of the tragedy and my reaction to what happened there. I believe it's really very natural to seek an emotional release and to try to express those things that you take joy in or you feel badly about.
The retired art teacher made this painting as he was examining his own aging process.
There are a lot of varieties of flowers, varieties in shapes and colors, varieties in names, and all of those to an artist present possibilities for interpreting. And I can probably find any number of flowers that are excellent metaphors for just about any human emotion.
Explore more floral flights of fantasy at www.arnoldsauther.com. You'll also find work by Sauther at For Art's Sake, the gallery in Malone, New York. The website is www.forartsake.net.